Hello there. Welcome to session 1 of my readings for the Self-Harming Pacifist, which is my book here that I wrote a couple of years ago. I published it last year. It's about my time with depression. And I've decided to record some readings using this book to hopefully raise awareness for people who have depression, to give them some help and guidance, to offer my support and to try and make it real. I'm all about delivering the message that people with depression are not crazy, weird, mad, or insane, or whatever. We're normal people. We have emotions, and it's fine to have those emotions. I went through a very difficult period in my life, and I've started recording it in these books. So this is the first one. I'm going to read the introduction and chapter 1 in what I call the Self-Harming Pacifist Zoom sessions number 1. Are you sitting comfortably? Now, of course, you could listen to this as well, rather than have to watch me read. But here we are. This is just like Jackanory. Part 1. It's too bad she won't live. But then again, who does? That's a quote from Blade Runner, written by Hampton Fancher and David Peoples, and the character was Gaff. Sometimes when I wake, it feels as if I've been spending the night staring at Edward Munch scream, that hollowed, howling mouth seeping into your sight like a spitting black hole and wrapping itself around your soul, making it impossible to weep or to fight. I lie lying there like a great fat bear after supper, limbs as lifeless as a body in a morgue, waiting for the inevitable, for the hands of the figure to place their chilled bones around my neck and grip tight. Then for those dark eyes to bore into my soul and offer me a choice. Today, do you wake and live, or do you decide on the other option? Now, options include, but are not limited to, sitting and sulking, prepare a ritualistic sacrifice of one's own life, lie in bed for as long as is needed for my body to waste away, beat myself with the stick of guilt and judgment, or get up, damn it, get up. This is not an everyday occurrence, but a regular one. I dream of vicious puppets. Oh, how I would long to see a puppet appear in the guise of Sooty and Sweep, or the Tracy brothers, perhaps even Captain Scarlet. Those overbearing, hideous creatures have warped faces as if they've been stamped on by a steel toe-cap boot and then left to rot in an unwanted attic. They appear from the dark corners, the shadowed recesses, from behind splintered wooden doors. The mind is adept at playing games with the emotions and often winning. Which is why I choose to write this story, my journey, through the gates of hell and across the river Styx. And I often ask myself, what if this journey we take into the darkness is what being a human is all about? I read an interesting tweet about committing suicide by the writer Matt Haig, and the very idea of committing to suicide. He argued that you commit to life, you commit to a person or people, you commit to a career and to your dreams. Suicide is not a commitment, but a terrible outcome of an illness. I wonder if this word for it is born of the days when you were committed to an insane asylum because society neither had the need nor the patience to deal with you. The old time thinking of locking the difficult away still lingers. In our modern world, it's like a ghost whispering in the backs of the minds of those who don't suffer such emotions, leading to the stigma, born of fear that emanates around the globe. Echoes of those screams sit in the paintings of Munch and the like, and filter into our subconscious. We who listen are the ghost carriers, the portals to the other dimension. We are all connected. Chapter 1, I'll be right here. Exhibit A, a completely made up theory, equation. E.T. is as much us as we are Elliot. That is why the story of Steven Spielberg's E.T., the extraterrestrial, affects us so emotionally. It marks both the beginning and the end of our journey through childhood and into adulthood. Or, for childhood, read imagination, and for adulthood, read reality. E.T. is our higher plane, our fantasy, our imagination. Elliot believes in him, and as he steps into the wider world of school, exams, and college, work, he must wave goodbye to all of that and focus on reality. The reality of growing up causes acne and aching limbs. Well, maybe that is just part of growing up. As E.T. points to his heart and utters, "I'll be right here," he is telling all of us that we find our truth and ourselves within and inside us. We are our hearts and our imaginations, our dreams and our desires. Don't bury those treasures too deep. Mark an X on your map, because when you wake from this listless pattern of working and sleeping, you may need to lean on your own ET in order to re-stabilize. Exhibit B, another made-up theory of mine that may be easy to remember. Phone home occasionally. Home equals you. There are ways of bringing you back home and turning your gaze once more to the stars and to the endless possibilities of your life. Now let's talk about depression. For me to cope with the debilitating fatigue of depression, I have stumbled upon various exercises which have taken years to figure out. My ideas are based on my experience and nothing more. Therefore, please take the following as my own experience. I'm not telling you not to do something if you have been advised to do it. Let's get one thing out of the way. Antidepressants. If I go to the surgery and say I'm feeling depressed, I will be prescribed citalopram or the like. If I go to the surgery and say I'm feeling low, the same will happen. If I go to the surgery and say I'm feeling anxious, nervous, stressed, or out of sorts, the same will happen. All these symptoms are different, and in my view, need to be treated as individually as they appear. Yet the same response is given for each one. When I was on a large dose of citalopram, I soon found out that I was half a person. The emotion had been eradicated, extracted from me. While I could enjoy a sitcom, I could not laugh at it just as equally as I could not cry because the world was an appalling place. I hated that feeling. I disliked more than the depression the idea that I could not laugh at anything. I was enjoying something and I could not show it. Therefore, I decided, after a long time on the pills, that I wanted all of me back. And in order to do that, I had to accept the bad stuff as well as the good stuff. It was the study of mindfulness that gave me sense. I soon figured out that what I have is a condition which can be lived with, but I cannot live with it when I'm half a person. Now, this is from experience, and I sincerely do understand that these medicines do have a benefit of giving you and your loved ones a break from the pain, but I honestly think that they are not a cure and that they are handed out too freely. That is what fears me the most about these tablets. Painted as a cure, as an answer, given out to whoever needs them. Why? Anti-Ds can work in the short term, but they are just an interim of inconsequence. The cure can be within you. But if you remove half of you, the other half is affected. Wake up! It's a beautiful morning. A morning routine for me, which now works. I threw away my citalopram on the 4th of September 2018. Awake, ease into the light, shake off the bad dreams, the mares, it's not real, but marvel at your imagination. Whoa, that was a ride worthy of a great movie. Think about what you want to do today, the good stuff, the exciting things. Drink tea or something that you like to drink. I gave up caffeine and have never wanted it since. Read, preferably a book. I go for non-fiction in the morning and fiction in the evening. There are some wonderful things you can learn from autobiographies, business books, how companies started, that sort of stuff. Now, here's an important message. It is important for people with high levels of emotion and who act as sponges to negativity to not watch the news. That is the most terrible mistake and one that should not start your day. Imagine beginning each day by being reminded of all the ills of the world, having delivered on a plate for breakfast the hunger, famine, murder, crime, and political betrayal and corruption. Why do we do this to ourselves? Breakfast television is for sadists. It's no bad thing to mix out what is going on anyway. I mean, if it is, you're going to know about it if it's important. But every day, all the time, I prefer a weekly roundup, and certainly not for breakfast. So I read a book, sometimes a fictional novel, sometimes a piece of history or a biography. One chapter a day, depending on the size. It is so good for me that I wonder why I have not done it in the past. Half an hour of that, along with a cup of tea, and I am ready to face the day. I feel I have given myself an intellectual kick up the rear, and then I can roam the world, remaining half in, half out of my own world, or half and half in imagination. Mindfulness reminds me that through being that way, I function better and I am sharper. In fact, by learning mindful meditation, you can increase your levels of brain activity as well as boost your immune system. Your imagination is hugely powerful. And though the above statement about staying half in the imagination may seem dangerous to some, just consider all those times you have driven somewhere and then you cannot remember the journey. That was your subconscious mind taking you on a trip. And you got there in one piece. Instinct takes us a long way. Imagination powers instinct. It is important to be the person you see in your mind's eye. We are too young to die, Jamiroquai. You can fight the grip of fear that allows negativity to get the better of you. If you allow it to be part of the person that you are, Vincent van Gogh, without his demons, would not have produced the wonderful images that he did. He is now labeled as a genius, a master of expressionism. In his day, he didn't know that, and even if he did, would it have made any difference? I think no. And I know that all of us have that same level of genius in us if we learn to accept the whole of us. That includes our demons, those monsters, voices, ideas, images, predictions, laments, dragons, burns, marks, and essential parts of our being. They are how the universe created us. They are our essence. They give us the profound way we see the world. The voices in your mind are not the problem. Society is.